Welcome to Gerald Khalil's Conversation Piece. I share my thoughts on social content and sports, politics, and entertainment. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So, after the 27-10 loss to the Chargers, it's time for the Browns to start thinking about their next steps. Playoffs aren't happening. You have to run the table in order to go to the playoffs. That's not going to happen if we look at their schedule. It's just too many tough teams. And you may have a sliver of hope if they only lose one more game. So figure 9-8. But I think it's time for the team and the fans to be more realistic and just say, look, it's time for some next steps. So these are the next steps that I suggest for the team. All right, so what we should do is get rid of some of our older players. Now I hear there's rumors already that Za'Darius Smith, that they're shopping him. There's rumors that he's going to go to Detroit. The Lions, they are a team that's maybe one or two pieces away from winning the whole thing. So they're in a prime position to get that one extra piece to help them. So I think moving Smith for some draft picks would be an excellent opportunity for the Browns. Shelby Harris also, I think he should be moved. And again, these are folks that are on the wrong side of 30. You want to try to get younger at this time and just load up on some draft picks. And a lot of what you're doing with loading up on draft picks is that you're making up for all the picks that you gave up in the Deshaun Watson trade. So you're rebuilding. You go on some picks, you may want to combine those picks to trade up into the draft if necessary, depending on where the Browns finish. So these are some of the things that need to be thought about. Another piece I would move is Denzel Ward. And I know I've mentioned this in just about every podcast I've done, but I want to keep mentioning it because other podcasts that I check out, they just talk about the guy like he's untouchable. Now, I don't understand why everyone thinks he's untouchable. Denzel, he's suffered 6 concussions in his career thus far, and it could be more. He's slight of build. He's not a good tackler. Is he a good person who can, shut down corner? Yes, he's very good. You always want to put someone like him on the best receiver. But at this point now, I don't know how old he is. Maybe he's 28, maybe 29. I'm not sure of his age. You want to go ahead and try to pull the trigger and see what you can get for Denzel at this time. And see if you could get maybe another corner. But that's what I would do. I would move off of Denzel Ward. Elijah Moore is another one I would move off of. At this point, he's been here, 2 years? Has it been 2 years? Maybe 3, I'm not sure. But really, what has Elijah Moore really shown you in the time he's been here with the Browns? We could blame the quarterback. We can blame the play calling. Maybe it's a combination of both. But at this point, I think it'll be good if we could give some of the other receivers that's on our team, take a look at them. We might as well, like Jamari Thrash. I would like to see what he's about. Give him some time. Move off of Elijah Moore and maybe trade him to a team that could use his services. There could be some teams that maybe, like one of those slot receivers away from being a real contender. So I think you could, maybe for Elijah Moore, maybe a 5th round pick, maybe. But, again, these picks that you get, you can combine them and move up in the drafts. So Elijah Moore is one that I would move off of. Here's another one, Jameis Winston. Now, if someone comes up with an offer, you got to think about it like, okay, yeah, because you're not going to the playoffs. You might as well see what DTR has at this point. Let's see what we have with DTR. Because the way things are trending, you're going to probably end up picking a quarterback out of the draft, right? And what is Dorian Thompson-Robinson going to be a backup? I guess it's okay for him to be a backup, but why not just try to get what you can off of him by trading him? Jameis Winston, right? Trade him. He's 30 years old. Get what you can with him. Going back to Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he's, he'll probably just be a backup, but he won't start over any of these other kids coming out, especially if you're drafting high. You got Cam Ward, you got Sanders. Dorian Thompson-Robinson's not going to start over those two, definitely. So, and hey, maybe DTR, you try to maybe move him too. I mean, why not at this point? And maybe you could get a veteran quarterback, more of a veteran quarterback. Now, you say, okay, well, why not just keep Jameis Winston? Yeah, that's true. But if someone came up with an offer for Jameis, I would take it and get those draft picks and move on. Another thing that I would do before the draft, I will move on from Andrew Berry. I don't know how you feel, but at this point, I've seen enough of Andrew Berry. I do not think he has the talent to make the right selections in the draft. I think both him and this could be also DePodesta and also Kevin Stefanski. They just rely too much on analytics. But since Andrew Berry's the GM, I'm placing the blame on him. You look at his picks, Martin Emerson, I mean, he's okay, but he lacks speed. Probably his best pick is JOK. But, even JOK, he's on the small side as far as a linebacker. I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong, but and he's drafted some 3rd rounders that he's just cut. And these guys, not only have they been cut, they haven't appeared on any other roster in the league. I'm thinking I can't think of the guy who they drafted as a 3rd rounder. He played on the defensive line. He didn't make the team. I can't remember his name, but you can't do that, man. You were talking about high draft picks that is just a waste. And why should we trust him? If you look at this Browns roster, their best players came from the last regime. It's true. Who has he bought in that's been good? Now, he's good at balancing books, pushing guaranteed money, dealing with the salary cap. He's good with that stuff. as far as drafting, assessing talent, he's not good. So you need to get someone else in there that can definitely um, draft some talent and get some real players in there. Um, if you ask who, if I was in charge, and I'm not, but I wouldn't be too ashamed to call up Detroit and talk with John Dorsey and say, hey, we got a GM opening here. You want this job back? You'll ask for a boatload of money, number one. Number two, they'll probably be like, hey, you fired me the first time, so, why should I come back? But sometimes you have to swallow your pride and try to get the best person available. And John Dorsey, look who he picked, the folks that he got to this franchise. Nick Chubb, he picked Denzel Ward, Baker Mayfield. I mean, he got some players, and those are just three. Now, some people say, oh, well, he made the mistake with Baker Mayfield because he could have got Josh Allen. He could have gotten Lamar Jackson. That is true. But I'm confident enough to say that if he was our GM, we would be in a much better place, all right, than we are today. So I would knock on Detroit's door and talk with John Dorsey and see if he could come back here. I think with a new GM, it will also help Stefanski, because I would like to keep Stefanski on as coach. Given that he'll keep around Ken Dorsey as offensive coordinator or whoever that may be, I think Stefanski would be better as a CEO and also to work along with that offensive coordinator, because Stefanski's needed in other areas to make sure that the team is better disciplined. Because one thing for sure this year, is coming into the season, the team was very undisciplined. They were out of shape, a lot of them. And part of this is not playing your team during preseason. It hurt. It was just a snowball effect. And you get to the point where your players aren't even ready until the fourth game of the season to play. And you just can't get off to a slow start like that. So that's what I would do with him. And then you could see how the year goes by, and you could find out, all right, is Stefanski the coach that should be here in the future or not? And a lot of people mention, hey, Stefanski, he's won 2 Coach of the Year awards. He's won a playoff game. Well, first of all, he really didn't win that playoff game. He had COVID, number one. Alex Van Pelt did that. And as far as the Coach of the Year, really, I mean, who cares? Let's get somebody in here who can hold these players accountable. I don't think Stefanski does that, and we need someone to do that. So hopefully, I'm thinking with him giving up play calling duties, he can concentrate more on holding his players accountable. Who we need to draft at this point? You look at it, we need to draft a QB. We can use an offensive tackle. And boy, can we use a receiver with speed and can catch. When's the last time we had that? It's been, I don't know if I can remember. Josh Gordon. Yeah, Josh Gordon. It's the last person I remember as far as who we drafted, a person with speed and can catch. Unfortunately, he had a lot of character issues. Talented, but so hopefully we can find one that good character, speed, and catch. And the only way we're going to do that is gather some draft picks. As far as trading for one, I wouldn't do that. Just count on draft picks. Other positions that we could draft, cornerback. I would love to get another corner, and that's the reason why I say, let's move off of Denzel Ward. A safety, we can use that. Ron Thornhill, man, it's been a disappointment since he's been here. And it's surprising to me. He came from a championship DNA team with the Kansas City Chiefs. And, it's just like he's like a totally different player in the Browns uniform. I don't know. And it just seems like these players who are picked up as free agents by this regime, they just look totally different when they're with the Browns. What is it? I mean, is it coaching? I mean, is it something in the water in Cleveland? I don't know. That's where I rather just go deal with the draft. And we could use another defensive tackle, right? Because if we're going to move on from Za'Darius Smith, someone young we could use. Now I don't know, maybe Mike Hall can grow into something. He's been doing pretty well in the games that he's played, but we can definitely still use another defensive tackle. Now let's go back up to quarterback. I hopefully would look for Cam Ward. I think he would be the best pick for the Browns. He's a little older. I believe he's a fifth-year senior. Could be wrong. But someone a little more older, a little more mature. I think he would be a good pick for the Browns. Shedeur Sanders, nah. I mean, you're going to have to deal with Deion Sanders. And I don't think they would want to come here anyway, right? Sanders, he's more flashy. This franchise is just not like that. You're saying how when Odell Beckham Jr. was here, the fans really didn't like it. And I mean, would I like Shedeur Sanders here? Yeah, I would. I think he's a great talent. But knowing how the fan base is, knowing how and even more than the fan base, and maybe, you know what, and actually, let me step back off of the fan base. More the media, right? It's more the media. There's some folks in the Cleveland media that just wants everyone to be like Nick Chubb, right? Someone who's quiet and goes around doing their job. It's great if you can get that, but a lot of these guys you can't. And it's just what it is. You have different people, you have different cultures, and not everyone's going to be the same. So that's something that the media in Cleveland's going to have to get used to. So that's that take there. Also, thinking about other quarterbacks, there's really no other quarterbacks out there right now on the college level that impresses me other than Ward and Sanders. So you're going to need those picks, all right, from these players in order to move up in the draft, to draft one of those two if necessary. And the prize pick, in my opinion, that you want is Cam Ward. So that's my take. Those are the moves that I would make. Let me know what you think in the comments. What moves you would make? What do you suggest? And of course, you follow me on X. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will catch you in the next one.